Yeah.
Back in the day, like it's kind of like what's happening right now. Like the grown-ups didn't like Chalino. They were like, pinche música, que la chingada, te canta bien feo. But the kids loved them, you know? So then I fell in love with that sound, and that was it, bro. Once I got that job at Pedro's, I was just recording everybody, bro. Like,
Give it like an estimate of how many artists you have recorded. Like,
Is it like in the thousands?
I'd say easily.
So this man right here has made your favorite song and your dad's favorite
And
song.
your dad's favorite song. Probably, yeah.
you get to see these artists grow too, you know?
Yeah, dude.
Like how they improve.
Like for example, like a Junior H, the first time he went, apenas iba empezando, and we did, I think the Chevy Silverado and a few other songs, and then every time he comes back, he's just better and better, and now he has his músicos, you know, tiene Pantera ahí con él. I just finished up Edición Especial's album. I just finished their album, the new Junior H one that just came out. I'm in the studio with Eslabon Armado right now.
Literally, like he left the studio.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I left him over there.
Eslabon. So you produced Jugaste Sufrir?
Yes. Lupillo Rivera, Jenny Rivera, Los Canelos de Durango, Leonel Ranchero, El Chapo de Sinaloa, Gerardo Ortiz. I recorded Gerardo when he was like 13. Remember when I did the Eslabon album, the Cortavenas?
Yeah.
I remember I told him, you guys should do a fucking dueto with the Junior H, and they were like, fuck, pero pues que the labels and this and that. And then when Junior pulled up, you know, a few months ago to do the album, and he's like, ¿qué crees? Dice, voy a hacer un dueto con Eslabon. Dije, what the fuck? Damn, like I said, that's fucking badass. I always tell my wife, I'm gonna stop, you know, taking so many albums, and then I get a phone call, Junior H, hey, can you do it? Let's do it. Let's do it.
What's up, guys? Welcome to the Agushto podcast. Today we have a very special guest and a very interesting guest. He's the leader of Voces de Rancho, the owner of Yellow Room Music. He has produced so much music and worked with so many big icons like the Rivera family. He's recording music for Junior H, Nata, Bad Bunny, Gerardo Ortiz, Eslabon Armado, everyone.
Damn, who else, bro? Who else?
We present you guys the Dr. Dre of the Regional Mexicano.
Shit! Now I gotta give a good ass interview because I'm.
You're the
That was a big ass intro.
That's the longest intro I've ever written.
Yeah, for the few people that don't know who the new Dr. Dre right here is, he has produced probably one of your favorite songs, you know, Márcame P, Cruising with Junior H, the album Adicto, all of the albums for...
Come on, Angel.
Oh, come on.
It's right there.
I got scared. Anyway, I forgot that one. But he did the song with Bad Bunny and Nata. He produced that one. He produced Cortavenas.
The new one of Eslabon.
He was literally recording that one today.
Yeah.
And maybe a little song called like Jugaste Sufrir. Maybe some of you guys have heard it.
They might have heard that song.
They might have. So the Mexican Dr. Dre right here for you guys.
Thank you
Hell
guys. Thank you guys for having me, dude. I was super excited about coming. I was like, fuck. I told him I couldn't sleep last night. It was like 3 a.m. We were tossing and turning. I'm like, fuck, I'm excited about tomorrow, you know? So yeah, no, it's a pleasure to be here, guys. Neta. Gracias.
Nah, hell yeah. We were chopping it up before the show, and we were saying how, you know, you could have a good song, but like, you need a producer to bring that song to life, and that's what he does. You know, he does the mixing and mastering, and I think it's amazing. And we're gonna talk about like basically what he does and how he like has the approach with the artists. You know, because you work with them a lot.
Yeah.
Sometimes you guide them. You tell them, oh, I do. Maybe try this. Maybe try that. You know.
Yeah, definitely. It's a process. You know, not everybody. There's like no rule book. You know, to do it. It's just básicamente like every artist. It varies. You know, there's some artists need more attention than others. But we're always trying to get, you know, the best possible outcome for the songs, you know? It's at the end of the day, it needs to serve the song. No nomás porque yo digo, oh, está mejor esto, o porque la otra persona dice, no, está mejor. There always have to be like, you know, some kind of like a halfway point where we meet, you know, where we say, okay, you know what, let's do this and let's try this. Make the song the best it could sound, you know? So
yeah, hell yeah. That shit fire, but I want to kind of get into like how you started this whole, you know, the being an engineer, because I mean I know you've come I know you've come a long
lot
way.
of years.
Man, it's been fucking long time, bro. I started very young. I started like I was 13 or 14, I think.
Shit.
I started the músico primero. A los 12 years old, empecé a tocar el piano, y luego the drums, then the bass I picked up. So I started, you know, messing around. My dad es músico, y tenía un grupo con su hermano y con sus amigos. Entonces ellos practicaban every week. They would gig on the weekends, but they were in the week they would practice they would leave their stuff in my dad's garage. So then when they were gone, I would go in there and just fuck around with everything, you know. I le pegaba la batería, a ver qué se me pegaba, you know. Because I already knew how to sing. Yo desde que tengo like uso de razón, I remember singing. I remember being like 3 years old and singing. And I remember singing on key. And I used to think everybody can sing on key. But then when I went to school and I would see other kids like, que no cantaban, like, how come they can't? Why they sound so fucking jacked
Natural
up?
talent right there.
Yeah, so then as I grew, my dad, when we would go to parties, my dad would fucking make me sing everywhere. Donde quiera que íbamos, cántate una canción. So he built that confidence in me for me to sing. So then when I was around 12, we did a group. And yo echaba segunda nomás, you know, y tocaba pianos y acordeón de teclas. But my real passion was like a little bit later down the road was when Chalino came out. Chalino came out, and that was when I got really into corridos and all that shit. At the same time, my dad, un día se le pegó lo que era, and he went and he bought like some studio stuff, like some microphones, you know, tape machine. And he had this one guy working there, él hacía las grabaciones. So then one day that guy left, and then my dad told me, hey, pues, you know, vete ahí al estudio y si no te gusta, o sea, like move around, you know, fuck around with everything. Y si no te gusta, pues I'll sell everything, you know. Y si no, pues si te gusta para decirle a esta gente que venga y terminen sus discos. So then I went in there and I started messing with everything. I fucking fell in love with it. I was like, what the fuck? Like they have because that machine that we had 16 channels. So I could record 16 things, you know, at one time. I was like, what the fuck? So me empecé a hacer grabaciones and then I made myself a solo album. Y se lo llevé a Pedro Rivera, and he signed me as an artist, as a solo artist.
It's crazy.
And then así fue como empecé, you know. And then after that, a couple of years later, me and Mariano, which is my buddy, the one that sings with me in Voces de Rancho, we made Voces de Rancho. And at the same time, I asked Pedro Rivera for a job because back then, I was, as a musician, I wasn't making any. I was making like $100-$200 a week, you know what I'm saying?
Oh shit.
So then he said, okay, mañana empiezas. And I was like, what the fuck? I was like, damn, I got a job. What the fuck? So then the next day I show up to the studio nervous as fuck, bro. I was nervous. and I pull up and está el Chapo de Sinaloa in the studio with his band ready to record. I was like, fuck.
Damn.
I'm in the fucking big
Wait,
leagues
where
already.
was this? Because you were from Long Beach, no?
Yeah, in Long Beach. At Cintas Acuario. And so I pull up and está el Chapo de Sinaloa ready to record. I was like, what the fuck? So then I was like, fuck it. Pues ya estoy aquí, you know, I got to do it. So then I did it and it came out good. And that gave me more confidence. So then at first, yo nomás grababa y estaba un señor que iba and he would like mix and master everything. So así empecé the first couple of recordings. And then, but for that particular album del Chapo, he mixed it, but el Chapo no le gustó, ni a Pedro. So then I heard them like kind of talking about it. I was like, oh, fuck. So then I went in the studio and I mixed it and I gave it to Pedro. And he heard it and ¿sabes qué? Dice, de aquí para adelante tú vas a mezclar todo. I was like, fuck.
Damn.
So like,
A natural.
I said, sorry, Bob. El Bob is el otro ingeniero. They let him go.
Later, Bob.
Kick rocks, Bob.
Damn.
How old were you?
I was probably like 18 or something like that. I was a kid, bro. I was a kid, but I just wanted to get my foot in the door, you know. And up to that point, pues yo conocía pues la música de Chalino, te digo, y estaba muy fuerte all the corridos shit, you know, like que el Monarca, hay que Jorge Gamboa, hay que Leonel el Ranchero, all these bands, all these guys that were out there. And I wanted to be, you know, like that. I figured if Chalino can sing, because Chalino has a weird ass voice, you know.
He does.
Back in the day, like, it's kind of like what's happening right now. Like the grown-ups didn't like Chalino. They were like, pinche música, que la chingada, te canta bien feo. And but the kids loved them, you know. So then I fell in love with that sound, and that was it, bro. Once I got that job at Pedro's, I was just recording everybody, bro. Like everybody that would go through, because Pedro had like hundreds of artists signed, so every day was somebody different. Un día llegaba una banda, otro día un norteño, otro día un mariachi, and so it was just. That's where I learned, you know. I was fucking things up sometimes, you know. I would fuck things up, you know.
It's like trial and error.
I didn't know, trial and error. So echando a perder se enseña uno, y ahí fue donde me enseñé yo, you know. I learned so much at that fucking studio. So honestly, Pedro was a big part of my learning this trade, because once I started mixing, pues obviously he would have to approve the mixes. So I would go down, like the studios upstairs. I would run downstairs all excited with my cassette. Oh, escúchalo. And then he would put it on and he would le bajaba bien bajito. And he would be like, no se oye la voz. I'd be like, sí se oye. No se oye. And he would be like, y le bajaba más. I'd be like, fuck. And he'd be like, you got to do it over again. I'm like, fuck. All right, fuck it. Pues ahí. So that was like, básicamente, esa fue mi mejor escuela, because like con las regañadas que me daba, me enseñé what not to do or what he wanted, what is it that he was listening for in the recordings. Y ahí fue donde pues me enseñé to make sure that the voice siempre se oía presente, y aunque le bajes poquito, que le subas mucho, you know. To me that's super important, you know. Everything has to have a place in the mix, so when you hear it, you know, you hear the accordion or the guitars and the, you know, the drums in the middle. So it's, I don't know, I've been a sound nerd, I think, all my life, bro.
Damn, it's cool to hear, you know, the roots of how like it is, you know, how you came up to be where you're at now, you know, because it's all like trial and error and
honestly, también, bro, la neta it's taking advantage of the opportunities that present your way. Sometimes we get those opportunities that present our way, y a veces we say, al rato lo hago, or you know, or it's not for me, and boom, se te va la oportunidad. And sometimes those opportunities don't come back, you know. So for me, I've always been bien aventado for any of that stuff, you know. Like I asked Pedro for that job sin saber. I had never worked at a real studio, but I said, I can learn. I know I'll fucking learn. I just wanted my foot in the door, and he gave me that job, and pretty much the rest was history. Actually, I worked for him for about 4 years before Voces thing took off, and then when that took off, I told him, you know, thank you for the job, you know, thank you so much for everything you did for me, but I don't really need to work here anymore.
You were like, Bob can come back.
Yeah, check out Bob again.
Hey, you still have contact with Bob?
Bob he was this white dude, man, and I remember he would work like at some TV show and shit, so he would only go cuando podía, you know. So pero batallé mucho con él. So I guess when he found me that I was able to do all that stuff, he was like, fuck, and he was paying me like, I'm sure he was giving me pennies compared to what he was paying Bob. Pero it was a good learning. I pretty much got paid to learn. I got paid to learn how to record, and I mean, man, honestly, that's the best decision I could have made, bro. Because honestly, like yo siempre, pues me gusta mucho la música, and I love being on stage, but recording to me is what I really love. You know, that's my passion. That's like, I'm always fucking thinking about it. Like I get up, you know, and I'm thinking, okay, what am I gonna do today in the studio? Or I'm going to sleep. Okay, what am I gonna do tomorrow in the studio? So I don't know. It's like an obsession, bro.
Yeah.
Like la llevas acá mis ojos, my wife.
Yeah, she was telling us stories about like when you're done with the mix, you'll be in the car blasting it, like make sure the kick is there and the bass.
She gets
mad. I think there's like a real passion right there, and like it shows through in the music.
Yeah, no. She be getting mad. I'd be blasting the stereo, no, pero en buena onda, no, pero sí, I don't know, something about sound. I remember when I was a kid, I would buy albums. It could be like un artist que me gustaba, like Tucanos or whatever, just an example. And if I would hear it, and if I didn't like the sound, I wouldn't hear it. Like, it was weird. But I could listen to a band que no era conocida, but if the sound was on point, I'll bump it all day. So I've always been a sound. And then llegó un punto where I would see, okay, this one sounds good. Where did they record it? Oh, pues que en tal estudio. So then next time I would buy a cassette or a CD, and it would say that same studio, I would know, okay, this one's going to sound good.
You got the quality right there.
Or this one's going to sound like shit. Because it's recorded at that one studio that, you know. So it was weird, bro. Y así, you know, así fue como se fue dando todo lo del audio.
So back then when you would buy like the CDs and stuff, it would say which studio.
Yeah, like it would see the credits, like you open it and
okay.
Producido por fulano, grabado en tal estudio, and mezclado, whatever, engineers and all that.
I see another question, like I haven't seen it now, but is there a way to find out, like let's say we listen to the Bad Bunny and Nata song, is there a way to find out like that says like you made it? Sort of?
Yeah, you could go like to allmusic.com, y ahí salen muchos credits. Sometimes they're not all the credits are there, but most of them should be there. Like I have if I go on the AllMusic, there's a bunch of albums that sometimes I go on there, I'm like, oh shit, I did this album, that's right. Oh, shit. yeah. That's been recorded so many people. Simplemente con Pedro, dude. Con Pedro, fuck, bro. I recorded so many people there. I lost track of how many people I recorded there. But it was just day in, day out, and since I was learning, I would like do like 18-hour fucking days, and
damn,
it was crazy, bro. It was crazy, but no.
If you were to give like an estimate of how many artists you have recorded, like how many,
ballpark
just like
number.
just like God. You know, like a guess.
Is it like in the thousands?
I'd say easily. Wait, imagínate 32 years of making music. I've been making music for 32 years. So
this man right here has made your favorite song and your dad's favorite
song.
And
your dad's favorite song. Probably, yeah. That's crazy, dude. Yeah, I started very young, so I think that's what helped me out, you know, and you know, eso fue lo que me ayudó mucho a mí to learn easier, because I guess when you're young, you know, your mind is a sponge, you know, so you learn faster. So honestly, that was something that helped me out a lot, that I was young.
Yeah, honestly, I could tell, well, at least for me, like I could tell the difference between like the mixes and mastering. I know Angel can't, but like
I'm learning.
yeah, he's learning. But like I was telling him that, bro, when I listen to the music that you produce, like I feel the bass, like I can feel it in my like ears, or when I'm in the car, like I can feel
Makes
it. Makes
your ears tickle. No, you got to scratch and
yeah. And then I mean, there's a the flip side too, where like I know another studio produced
other studios,
and I was like, hey, that little spark is not there.
Call them out.
I'm not gonna
one time, remember when it was the one song that was like, it sounds like they recorded through the phone, like Bobby Shmurda song, like like when he was in jail, but I was like, they're not in jail. Was it over the phone? He knows what song I'm talking about.
And did you finish school? I know, but you said you started at a young age, but did you end up like going to college or?
Nah, bro. Once I got into music, fuck, bro. Like school became a secondary thing for me, bro. Yo me la pinteaba tanto, cabrón. It was fucking ridiculous.
They're like, you come here?
Yeah. No, and you know what I would do? Like, for example, when I started getting into the recording, I was still in high school. So I would go and buy like those fucking CDs de pistas. And de banda, norteño, shit. So now I would go to the studio and put my vocals on them, and the next day I would show up to school. Oh, grabé con banda, boom, check it out. Grabé con norteño, grabé con... And they'll be like, oh, shit. They thought I was doing it, but in reality eran pistas, Pero así fue como empecé yo, que quería cantar. And I was just fucking like determined, bro. Like I tell my wife, like, besides music, I'm fucking useless, bro. I don't know how to fucking... Si se chinga esa... light, I don't know how to fix it, or la pinche door esa se cae, I'll call somebody to fix it, or I'll tell my wife, she's probably better handyman than me. but I'm just music, bro. That's all I do, and I've been very blessed to do it for a living, But because if I mean, I was good thing I can't get fired from my job, but if I would get fired, I don't know what the fuck I would do. Me muero de hambre because I don't know what to do. I don't know how to do anything else.
That's dope. You're living your dream, doing what you love.
It's a trip, bro. La neta, every single day, I wake up and. When I'm driving to the studio, I'm a very big believer, in Jesus and God, and I pray a lot, and I pray every morning, I pray every night, and I pray every morning, and I always give thanks. And sometimes I walk into my studio, I'm like, fuck, bro, this is my studio, bro. Like I cannot fucking believe it.
This is my place.
This is my place, man. Like
I built it from the ground up.
I'm like, I fucking like this is mine. Like this is a fucking trip.
Like
bro.
I did this shit.
I did it, and since I was a kid, I've always liked big studios, And when we were doing the bosses thing. Because I had my little studio, it was just like a little home studio, and we would go rent out these fucking big ass studios, and because I wanted to feel like an artist, and so when we decided to make Yellow Room, that was the first thing that I said I want people that show up to Yellow Room, I want them to feel like a fucking rock star, as soon as they fucking walk into the door, they think fuck, this is where I'm gonna make my album, this is where I'm gonna record my record, and so to me that was super important. So all the mood, the lights, and all that stuff, it just adds to the mood. It
like the whole vibe, huh?
It's a vibe. It definitely has to be a vibe. I think that makes a big ass difference when you're making music, because shit, just changing the lights from fucking white to blue to red or to purple, it looks different, and it makes people like more creative. It gets them into a little headspace of making music and shit, whatever gets them there, So
yeah, that's dope,
yeah, bro.
In your opinion, who has been like the best requintero that you work with?
Best requintero, there's a couple, bro.
Fucking beast.
Who comes to mind?
I think Danny Felix comes to mind as one of the best, one of the greats. I mean, he's a bad motherfucker, bro.
He plays like every instrument.
Yeah.
Fucking monster.
No, he's a monster, bro, at what he does, and it's one of those people that you it's such a joy to see them working, because they do it with so much passion, and when I get artists like musicians like that, it makes my job so much more fun, bro, because we're all into it. We're like, fuck yeah, sometimes I'll be fucking recording and I have goosebumps,
Yeah,
it's beautiful, and it's músicos like that, I know a few músicos that are that caliber, and like drummers. There's a guy that I work with a lot, he's in El Pulpo, he's a drummer. Dude is a fucking monster at what he does, bro, and it's just such a joy to see those guys play. And I'm like, when I'm doing that, I'm like, fuck, how lucky am I? I get to see all this fucking music being made
like unreleased
before anybody else, So it's definitely a blessing, bro. Yeah.
What about like a bass player?
Bass player, my compa Cram, bro.
Cram
bass. He's a monster, man. He's my top gun right there at the studio, I mean, there's a lot of them. El compa Aronta, I mean, he's just such a fucking.
Oh yeah,
Aaron
bass?
feel the bass.
Yeah, he pretty much set the bar for all the bass players right now. You know, después llegó el Cram. El Cram just got that style, and he twisted it and made it his own, and fucking he became a fucking institution. You know, Cram. When I met Cram, he was a security guard.
Oh, really?
And I kind of convinced him to quit his job because I was calling him all the time, and he was like, "Oh, I can't go because I have to work." And I'd be like, "Bro, you should just quit your job." He's like, "I'm like, I can give you a lot of fucking work in the studio, you know, and I'm sure you'll get more work from everywhere else." And then one day he just shows up to the studio. He's like, "Guess what?" I'm like, "Well, I quit my job." I was like, "Fuck." I don't want to work no more. I'm like, "Damn, lo tengo que mantener ahora." Nah, pero la neta, el Cram, pues ha sido. He's a big part of a lot of stuff that's out there now, you know, and definitely he's one of the greats, man. He's one of the greats, and I think he's one of those musicians that people will always remember, you know.
Yeah.
Shit. Yeah. I know you've been around a long. Hold up. I know you've been around a lot, like recording musicos, and then a question that I had for you is like, what is like the main difference between, you know, the musicos of your generation and the new generation? Because you know how we were talking about like, it's a huge like. It's like it's totally different, you know?
Yeah. Well, definitely the music has changed a lot. Like the tonos that people use now in the songs are completely fucking...
They're different.
They're different than before. Before, primera, segunda, tercera, now it's all these menores and all this.
Yeah.
So definitely the evolution of the músicos. And honestly, like los músicos de ahorita, there's some young ass kids, bro, que llegan y they're badass. Why? Because the músicos before them set that bar really high, como te digo, como like Aarón, he set the bar really high for all the bass players. So now all the bass players that are coming up, that are learning, they're learning off of his shit or off of Cram.
Yeah.
So they're fucking getting beastie as fuck. So then the next wave of musicians are probably going to be even crazier than Cram and Aarón and all these cats. So, but I think that's the biggest difference that I see. It's just these fucking kids are virtuosos now, you know?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Virtuosos, that's the word.
Did you ever get to meet Ariel Camacho?
Never met him, bro. Never got to meet him.
Oh,
That's my...
Yeah. I wish... that's one person I think I would have loved to work with, you know? But no, I didn't have the pleasure of meeting him.
Man, you could have recorded one of his songs.
I know.
Definitely,
dude.
right? You would have been the one.
That would have been badass.
For the youngsters watching, what's one of the old top dogs that you have recorded? Like,
for the youngsters.
Yeah.
Good question for the youngsters.
For us.
not just so they can know, like, damn, this food.
Oh, yeah, my bad. I forgot you're old.
Done.
From the old school, Lupillo Rivera, Jenny Rivera, Los Canelos de Durango.
Damn.
Fucking, who else? Damn, Leonel Ranchero, El Chapo de Sinaloa, Gerardo Ortiz. I recorded Gerardo when he was like 13, I believe. He was going through a voice change. He hace cuenta que he came to do, we did all the music, huh? And then he came back to do the vocals a few months later, and his voice was already changing, so his voice would crack throughout the whole album. And we were able to record it, pero sí le batalló un poquillo. Pero desde que lo oí cantar, I knew he was gonna be a badass. I was like, this fucking kid he's gonna be badass. Yeah, and sure enough, a few years later, I heard him on the radio, super popping. He took it to the next level too, you know. So.
And you get to see these artists grow too, you know.
Yeah, dude.
Like how they improve.
Like for example, like a Junior H. The first time he went, you know, he was apenas iba empezando, and we did I think the Chevy Silverado and a few other songs, and then every time he comes back, he's just better and better, and now he has his músicos, you know, tiene Pantera ahí con él, and these guys are just fucking badass, bro. And they keep on getting better and better, you know. You could tell that they're on their shit, and that's it. Como te digo, that kind of shit makes my job easier and more fun, because haz de cuenta, si llega un músico que pues no viene preparado, pues they only can give as good as they can play en ese rato, you know.
Yeah.
Si ya vienen preparados, it can only get better. So that's why I always tell the guys, you know, when you're going to go record, prepare your songs para que llegues y no estés batallando y que no salga as best as it, you know, can come out in ese moment. It has to come out as best as it can and overall, you know. So that's super important.
Preparation.
Practice, guys, practice.
Oh, yeah. So let's say I feel like there's a lot of people a lot of músicos or aspiring músicos, and let's say, you know, I want to record with the new Dr.Dre over here. What would you tell them before they come to your studio, like, to prepare? Like, how should they walk in through the door?
Yeah, they definitely very, very well rehearsed. I think that's super key. Y como te digo, it goes back to the whole, if they're rehearsed, then it can only come out better, you know, than what it's already. But si no vienen ensayados and they're going to go practice there, and, you know, it's gonna be one of those things where later on they're gonna hear it and they'll be like, "Fuck, I should have added this here." Pero como no se prepararon, you know, it's too late now because they already recorded whatever they could that day. And so I think definitely preparation is super key when you go to the studio. You know, it makes things flow way easier.
And we're also learning to play with the metronome too, huh?
Oh yeah,
That's
really important.
That's
one of my core memories that I have. Oh, the first time that I went.
Oh, you went to the studio?
Yeah, when they were making Cruising with Junior H.
Yeah.
And it was like my first time in the studio. I had never thought about how music was made. And I remember you sitting on like that chair in front of like 800 buttons. And I don't remember if it was Junior H singing or someone with the guitar. But they were like doing their thing and it was like this. And then you're like, oh, let's do it again. And let's do it again. And like this and like this and like this. And I was like amazed. I really was.
That metronome thing, I mean, it's kind of tricky, you know. I mean, it's keeping your timing, but sometimes that's harder. It's harder than it seems, you know. It's just you gotta keep your timing. Aparte vas adornando, and you gotta adornar a tiempo y caer a tiempo. So sometimes for músicos, that can be, for some músicos, it could be a little difficult, you know. But once they get it, I think I'm pretty good at coaching people through the process. That's what I think has helped me stay busy, because I'm a good coach when it comes down to, I'll be like, okay, let's do it again. And it's all about, honestly, it's even como like psychology kind of shit, because you got to get into their headspace and make them comfortable and make sure that they trust you, because trust is a big shit when you're talking. So if I tell them, ahí estás mal, you know, they have to believe me that I'm telling them the truth, you know. So I try to build that trust. So when they llegan, no es como que llegan, okay, get in the booth and start recording. Llegan, and we'll chop it up for a good half an hour, and you know, just kind of to get into the little vibe and to see where everybody's at, and so it's all like, it's a process, bro.
Yeah, so I think that's how you built that relationship, and that's why they always come back. You know, the next album they come back to.
Yeah,
the fluidity that you give them, you know.
Yeah, I think that's been, and honestly, I mean, shit, it's a big ass fucking age gap, because shit, I'm already older, you know. I didn't say my age. Yeah, I'm already older. I'm already older, but so there's a big ass age gap, but I don't know. I guess this business kept me young, you know, because I hang around. Shit, I'm always the oldest guy in the room every single time, you know. There's always kids in there, 18, 17, 20 years old, and I'm like the old guy. But I guess I won't say old. It's wise, because I've been doing it for a long time. So we'll say wise. We won't say old. But yeah, it's fucking, it's a trip, bro. Those kids keep me young, and that's why I dress like a fucking 20-year-old and shit sometimes. But you know, it's cool, bro. It's part of the business.
Yeah. Has there ever been a músico that gets like a little molesto that you're constantly telling them like, no, otra vez, like slow down?
Yeah. There's people that don't take constructive criticism very well, you know, and they'll be like, it's happened where I'll be like, oh, estás mal. A ver, enséñame dónde. So I show them and be like, oh, okay, you know, and they don't like they think that I'm just bullshitting with them or just fucking with them. I'm like, no, man, I'm telling you, it's fucking wrong there.
You're like, I know what I'm doing.
I'm telling you. I mean, I'm not always right, though. I'll tell you that much. Because there's sometimes where I'm like, oh, está mal, and it's así. And they're like, oh, no, porque está bien, porque es así. Oh, okay, cool. Then, you know, pero como dicen, pues, I mean, it's always to serve the song. Like, if I'm wrong, it's cool. And if they're wrong, you know, it should be cool, too, you know? Mm-hmm. It's a collaborative process, you know? You have to, because at the end of the day, it's the artist's song, you know?
Yeah.
They're saying, así la quiero, pues así la quiere, you know? It's their song at the end. And I just try to make it as best as it can come out.
Has there ever been a time where like you lost a file of like the recordings or anything?
Yes, yeah. Fuck yeah.
Misplaced.
So it wasn't just us.
One time.
Oh, wait, let's hit after the break.
Yeah.
All right.
What were we saying about losing a file?
Oh yeah.
Oh, losing a file. I didn't lose a file. Well, I mean, I've lost files, pero una vez I remember back in Pedro Rivera days, I was working at a studio, and then this band went to record. And then the man, the owner of the band, he said, you know what? I'm gonna go pick up a keyboard from my friend. He's like, I'll be back like in 2 hours and shit. So this fool went far as fuck. And he came back and he recorded the keyboard. So he said, okay, I'm gonna go drop off the keyboard while you guys work and I come back. But I forgot to mark where the keyboards were at. So then I recorded over them.
No.
So then he came back and we were recording, and then we were gonna mix that same night. So then I start putting up the mix and I start putting up everything. He's like, where's the keyboards at? I'm like, there should be here, you know, and then all of a sudden, like, I hear like a tail of it, but cut. Like, oh fuck, los borré. And that motherfucker screamed. He yelled at me like so bad. Like he was my dad. I felt like fucking. I was like, no man. He went back, came back again another 2 hours, and fucking recorded.
Yeah.
He was mad as fuck, bro.
And back then,
Happens to everyone.
the technology was different than now, right? 'Cause
Yeah.
now you have software that backs everything.
We still lose.
I'm
stuff.
pretty sure. Yeah, well, it depends on the.
Well, we lost.
stuff.
No, you still lose shit.
Yeah, we lost.
Technology.
We lost.
We lost the whole podcast and had to reshoot.
No.
Right in the middle of
Well, in the middle of it, like the
45
mixer
minutes.
died.
45 minutes in.
And it was Legado 7.
Oh, what the fuck?
So part 2 coming soon is gonna be better.
New and improved with
New and
new
improved, that we're
gear
so proud.
and new mics too.
But yeah, you guys had different mics back then.
Yeah,
Yeah, I remember.
Our
So,
setup was a little bit different.
yeah.
Yeah, the first time I heard my voice in this one, I was like, what the?
Yeah, hey, it really
This is
sound like
badass
that.
mic.
I like, damn, that's what I sound over the phone. What's I like, what's up?
But I think going back to at the beginning when I was trying to do my introduction that I thought about for 2 days and planned for 2 days, and then I forgot Puerto Diferentes name, and then I got scared, like, I started stuttering. Do you mind telling us, like, from right now, like, who you've produced for?
Like who I produced for,
Like, just
up until right now. Fuck.
yeah, just like
Like the new.
what comes out. Yeah.
I just finished up Edición Especiales album. I just finished their album. The new Junior H one that just came out.
Yeah.
I'm in the studio with Eslabon Armado right now.
Literally, like, he left the studio.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I left them over there.
Eslabon.
Yeah, I left them. They were supposed to wait for me, but then Doña Nelly called me. She said, "Oh, es que mejor vamos a ir, and we'll come back tomorrow." I said, "All right, cool. That's cool." But I los dejé en el studio, so we finished up.
Sorry,
one song.
Eslabon. Sorry.
Sorry, guys.
Oh.
Sorry,
Yeah,
guys.
the
This is the
great-
interview I was talking about. Yeah, pero yeah, I had told them desde temprano. I said I gotta leave like around 5. I said, but I'll be back, and then we can keep working. And they said, all right, that's cool. So I figured out we're gonna work late today. Pero ahorita me habló una señora que they were gonna go home and they were gonna chill out. I said, all right, that's cool. So tomorrow le seguimos.
So you produced Jugaste Sufrir?
Yes.
How was that?
That, you know what? That was one of the songs that that was one of the first songs that we recorded actually on the album, and I had never heard of this kid Danny Lux, and I remember when the song came out, I remember my wife was like, I fucking love that song. That song is so badass, and watch, it's gonna do really, really good. And he pasó, fast forward like a few months, like 8 months or something, and that shit just super popular on TikTok, and we're like, what the fuck? My daughter called me one day and she was like, Daddy, there's this song that I keep on hearing on TikTok like over and over. She was, and I went, she was, and I went to see what song it was, and I went to the credits. She was, and I saw you produced it. She was like, oh my God, that's so cool. And we had like a little moment there and shit. She was, I'm so proud of you. And I'm like, oh shit, that's so fucking crazy. But yeah, that song was, I mean, that kid is badass. He's one of the artists that I would definitely want to work with. I would definitely want to produce some music with him. I think he's definitely one of the artists to me that stands out at the moment. And he's a cool ass kid. I mean, it's calmadillo, el morro, He's
He's
cool as dude. I only met him that one time, but he was super cool.
Yeah, I mean too. I want to see Ivan. You work with Ivan Cornejo.
Yeah, let's get him in there. Let's
Yeah,
get
we
him
told
in
him.
there, man.
Yeah, we told him.
Compa Ivan, hit me up.
Ivan.
Call me up.
We're gonna have to drag him out of his house.
Yeah. What are some other artists that you would like to? Because we saw you did the song with Bad Bunny and Nata.
Well, that was
How was that?
Well, we did the music there. Bad Bunny did his vocals somewhere else, but then they went to the studio and they did like this behind the scenes kind of thing with Beats by Dre.
Yeah,
They went to the studio and so Bad Bunny shows up to the studio. I'm like, what the?
that's crazy.
That was insane, bro. That was like, no te miento, like 60 fucking people, the crew.
Yeah, I remember watching all those videos. I was like, there's a lot of people in there.
Fucking insane, bro. And back then, I only owned my part of the studio. The other studio was somebody else's, and so it was un pinche desmadre con la gente, con los parking lots. I had so many issues that day with parking, pero it was cool, man. Like that, like shit. He just him being in there, it was fucking crazy. And honestly, that shit put me on. Honestly, it was when I started working with Nata, when the album the El Drip came out, literally the next morning, bro, my phone was filled with messages. People like, I want to record, cuánto me cobra. And I remember el compa Jimmy, shout out to Radio Millet para el compa Jimmy. He called me one day, he said, hey, te voy a mandar este morro, dice, canta bien chingón el morro, le chingada. Se llama Natanael Cano. I'm like, órale, mándalo. So he went, he shows up with Danny Felix, and the first song he started recording it is El Diablo. And I was like, what
Casi nada.
the fuck?
Yeah, that's the one.
And then with the taste of Danny Felix in there.
Yeah, and it was like, because they had already, I think they had already recorded live, pero they did the studio version, and it was just like, it just blew my mind, bro. I was like, this kid is gonna be fucking badass. right after that, he came and he recorded el album de Corridos Tumbados Part 1. And te digo, the day it came out, like the next morning when I woke up, I had all kinds of messages. People wanted to come record. And honestly, it was, you know, I give a big thanks to Nata and Rancho and all them that they're the ones that got me noticed with all the youngsters, you know, porque en realidad this is a young man's, you know, world right now with, you know, all this music. So they're the ones, the young kids are the ones that rule, you know. They're the ones that do the streaming. They're the ones that pick up those numbers, you know. So honestly, working with Nata was a big, for me, it was a big, definitely a changing point in my career.
And how would you describe being like in the studio with them? You know, because you're like there watching them create.
Yeah. It's a trip, bro. Like that guy, you know. I think all great artists, they're a little crazy, you know. Pero crazy in a way where they're really passionate about what they do, you know. And there's artists like Nata, you know, that like Junior. They're very passionate about their craft, you know. And that's good to see, because there's other artists that go in there and they don't give a fuck. They just go in there and blah 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 blah, y pum, se van. No les vale madre que estés desafinado. You know, and these guys actually take more time and into their albums, and they make sure that it's the best they can come out. You know, so it's definitely crazy, man, to see a song like that. Like, because sometimes like we'll do the guías, like for example El Diablo, you know, you do the guía, or El Drip, you do the guía and you're like, oh, it's a cool song, but then you don't imagine that's gonna be fucking humongous. Simplemente como la de Jugaste y Sufrí. We didn't think it was gonna be that fucking big. It was just fucking, or Jenny 69. I did Jenny 69 song.
Oh yeah, I was gonna mention that right now.
We did that song and we didn't know it was gonna be that big. We knew, okay, se va a dar a conocer because Jenny's known, you know. Obviously she has a big, huge following. But the way it just fucking blew up, that was some next level shit, you know. Some crazy shit. But it's, you know, it's pretty cool.
Did you feel like you have to change the approach in terms of like producing styles with the new and old generation? Like did you change something?
No, you know what, I think it pretty much applies the same way. I try to bring a lot of the old school stuff into the new movement, more than anything, like playing all together. I think that's super important, because it's like you could go in there and do a guía and then do the guitar by itself and then do the other guitar by itself, and then and it sounds fine, but I think if all the músicos are playing together and para empezar, como que agarra más vibra, it gets more sauce.
Yeah, because sometimes we're like on the little couch and they're like, oh, like check this out. You guys like
yeah.
I think that it's like capturing like that vibe.
Yeah. Because sometimes the músicos they feed off each other, you know. Like the guitar player will do something and then the armonía will le contesta, or vice versa, the bass or tuba or whatever it is playing. So yeah, cuando están juntos, como que they vibe off each other, you know. And I think that's something that it's kind of a lost art now for all the recordings. A lot of people now they do they want to be perfect, everything, and then once they finish recording, they quantize everything, they make it more perfect and more like on time, and it just fucking, I feel like it sucks the life out of it, you know. There should be little errors here and there, so you got like real human beings, you know. And so
like
that's where I bring the old school shit, you know.
And what have been the longest like session you have had with any artist or amanecidas or?
Oh fuck, I did Adriel Favela's album, the one that just came out. Man, that dude's a vampire, dude.
He
was like, I would always say, I go, damn, fucking Adriel's a fucking vampire. He looks like a vampire. When I work with him, I'm like, this motherfucker is a vampire. He will start working like at 8 p.m. and we'll go like till 7 a.m. the next morning. You know, I was all fucking okay. But you know, that guy, he's another one of those guys that he's just a fucking beast in the studio, bro. He's so passionate about his craft and about what he does and about his songs, about every single little detail and word, you know. And but yeah, ese disco, I remember when I finished that album, I was fucking exhausted. I'm not used to
energy.
Like train.
Yeah, bro. And like I remember we'd be able to be like 3 a.m. and shit, and then somebody would pull up with like fucking 6-7 cans of Monster. I'd be like,
damn.
I said we're gonna be here for a long time. Yo con mi cafecito, you know, just fucking getting my coffee.
Yeah. But another huge thing that I want to talk about, you know, while we have you here, is that, you know, with this new, like, we'll call it movement, Corridos Tumbados, or, you know, however you guys want to call it, like, what do you think, like, what do you think about that? You know, music is always evolving.
Yeah.
It's always criticism when, you know, it's a new sound, doesn't sound exactly like it sounded before. And we know you have a little bit of experience right there with your grupo.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, dude, I think a lot of times what happens is that people get stuck on their things and they just they don't like change. Some people don't like change and they don't want music to change. And some people are like, oh, the old school stuff. I mean, yeah, I love the old school stuff. Don't get me wrong. I love it. That's where I come from. That's my roots. But I also love the new stuff, you know? Music has to evolve, you know? If not, it would be boring. If everything sounded like it sounded 15, 20 years ago, music would be boring, you know?
Yeah.
I don't think it would be as big as it is now. The fact that it's evolving, it's what's making us bigger. I mean, fucking 10 years ago, you wouldn't hear of Grupo Firme or anybody selling out the Staples Center, honestly.
Damn.
You would not hear anything like. And now, since all this stuff, que Nata con Bad Bunny, que fulano con... all that shit, it just made everything grow, you know? And if you look at the, like, el género como los reggaetoneros, they're son bien unidos.
Yeah, they're very
Yeah.
open.
We
Or
touched
the
upon
raps, you know, the rap people, they're very united. That's why they're so huge. It's worldwide. Y es lo que faltaba. I felt like that's lo que faltaba in this género.
Mhm.
And it's still happening. It's still not at its full blossom, but I think it's still going to get even bigger, you know? And you see artists like Junior H is doing Baja Beach Fest now. And
Yeah, that's so
fucking
dope.
trip, bro.
Huge,
That's that. Back in the day, that was only for rappers and fucking reggaetoneros. Now we have fucking tumbados and, you know, guitars and shit on those same stages.
Yep.
That's fucking amazing, you know?
And I think also adding to what he said, I think you mentioned earlier that when you were younger, that the older people didn't like Chalino.
Yeah.
It was just the younger one.
Yeah, I remember my dad would be like, ese cabrón canta bien feo and la chingada.
Damn, that's
And-
great. I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it happens. It's the evolution of music. It's like when I was a kid, I loved, you know, rap music, NWA, Ice Cube, and all this shit. And my parents would hate it. They'd be like, pinche música fea, la chingada.
Oh,
You know?
oh,
So it's
my
happening.
friends have
It's
said
happening
that.
all over again. Like, you know, the older people like, oh no, que corridos tumbados, nah, fuck, pinche música fea, la
Yeah.
chingada, you know. They want to stick to their, you know, que Vicente, and that's cool. I love all that shit too. That's my favorite. You know, when estoy pisteando, Mitch, you know, whatever. Pero the music has to evolve in order for it to grow. If not, then, you know, we'd be stuck in the same fucking, you know.
It'd be like a
I
loop.
get you. But I think like
yeah.
a special thing happened where, like this generation adopted like the older music sooner, where
Yeah.
you know it's like the parents like you know listening to it like actively like going to concerts and you know
Yeah.
going with their kids, and like our generation like switched from you know rap and English music to you know corridos tumbados and
Corridos tumbados.
more traditional music sooner, and you know I think it helps out the genre as a whole. The music grows, and it just gets bigger.
It does, bro. It does. It definitely does because te digo, like if we would be stuck in that same mentality, our music would still be nightclub music, you know. And now you hear that shit.
Staples Center.
Staples Center. Fuck, how much bigger can it get? You know, you guys and you got Firme coming to. I think they went to SoFi. Like,
2 days.
oh, fuck, bro.
Dang, that
That shit's
huge.
You wouldn't have seen that shit 5 years ago. You probably wouldn't have seen that shit, you know. And it's badass that it's going to the next level. It helps all of us, honestly. It helps even you guys and me and,
Of course.
and everybody, you know.
Yeah.
So it's you know, I'm all for it, bro. Honestly.
It's literally like, sorry, I couldn't.
No, go.
Like it's one big culture, and if like we could grow it to the level of, you know, the reggaetoneros, then I think that's ideal for all of us, especially like the ones for like producers, you know,
definitely.
people like Cram bass could start recording for other people, you
Yeah.
know, like stuff like that.
All that shit, it you know, as long as it makes everything bigger, it's better, you know, it's better for everybody. They go como siempre, there's always gonna be those people that are, no, they don't want change and they want everything like before, and pues in reality, you know, estamos en un mundo that's evolving, and so we have to evolve with it, you know, or nos quedamos como dinosaurios.
Yeah, and you as a professional in this space, what would you say is needed for the genre to grow? Like what needs
That's
to
a
change?
good question.
More unity, like more. I mean, yeah, they're already doing a lot of collabs, you know, pero I think we need more collabs and that kind of shit is what's gonna make it grow. I mean, that's the only way I can see it growing. You know, there comes once in a while like phenomenon artists, you know, like a Nata, like a Jenna Rivera. She was a phenomenon, you know, that she fucking made it on her own. She didn't need nobody, you know, she just did it on her own. Pero estamos en un mundo ahorita donde the collabs are a big thing, you know, and if you do a collab with un reggaetonero or un pop artist or whatever it is, just make it grow, you know.
Yeah. When we saw Eslabon and Junior H, like we even had played the clips like, oh yeah, that's never gonna happen.
Yeah, we were
And
so
then it came
upset.
out, like we were really
Yeah.
surprised and glad because it could only help the genre out. So I know that some labels watch this. So if there's,
Call him out.
yeah. So you know, if there's an opinion should respect my voice. He said more collabs. We need to grow the genre. And
I couldn't believe that they were gonna do that either. I remember when I did the Eslabon album, the Cortavenas.
yeah,
I remember I told them, I go, man, I go, you guys should do a fucking dueto with Junior, with the Generation. They were like, fuck, pero pues que the labels and this and that. And then when Junior pulled up, you know, a few months ago to do the album, and he's like, ¿qué crees? Dice, voy a hacer un dueto con Eslabon. Dije, what the fuck? Dije, damn. Like I said, that's fucking badass.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was sick as well, though. I couldn't believe it. They were on the same. I mean, they were never in the same room though. They were never in the same room together. Like Junior did his parts, and then a couple of years later, Eslabon pulled up and they did their parts. They were never. That would have been a sick ass picture.
Hell
bro.
yeah.
Hell yeah.
I was hoping that like si vienen todos, I'm gonna take that picture. I'm gonna post. I'm gonna be the first motherfucker to post. At least 3,000 likes on that motherfucker.
Or get 2 snippets like, hey, what about this song? Have them singing and this song and just put it together and release
They
it.
put it together.
Yeah, we need to start.
Yeah,
like,
we've been talking about that for a little while. Like, you know, I think he said that sometimes there's like 7 reggaetoneros on one song, like on the remix of it. And you know, over here we're really happy that, you know, there's two of them.
At least
trying to get more. You know?
One day there'll be 3.
Hey, 2 in different labels.
Yeah,
That's what
we're making progress. We're making progress.
We're making progress. We have been talking about it, manifesting it. And We've been saying like,
because remember we had a whole episode where you were arguing that like the genre is gonna grow to this and why we said it didn't.
My
should
opinion,
ask him.
Ask
I
him.
feel that this
Corridos?
like corridos is gonna overpass rap one day.
Yeah, we did like a whole presentation.
What do you think about
He's
that?
he's like, that's a bold statement.
That's my opinion. Like, but I want to hear yours. Like,
yeah.
What do you think about that?
Yeah.
That's pretty.
I mean, shit, that would be badass. If we can maybe do a lot of features with rappers, maybe we can get to that level. But I mean, honestly, the way it's growing, bro, it's been growing so fucking much. The streaming is up there, like it's a trip because I'll look at I'm always checking billboards every week. I'm checking billboards, see if I'm on there or who's on there, what I've worked on that's been on there, and shit, you'll see fucking Junior and Eslabon and Nata
mixed with Bad Bunny.
Mixed with Bad Bunny.
Yeah.
You're like, what the fuck? Like that's fucking crazy. That shit means that our shit is growing majorly, you know? So
Yeah.
like fucking Pedro was telling me that yesterday he got 2 awards to BMI awards for writing songs and shit, and like it's a trip, you know. That means his shit is hot on the radio, you know. All these fucking songs were just big, and it's, you know, it's definitely making everything grow, you know.
Yeah, you were on when Danny Lux came on. You said that he had like number.
It was number 2. I think.
Number 1 or number 2
One or
for Latin artists, writers, composers.
Yeah, that's
Yep.
crazy.
He's
on there all the time.
Yeah, it reminded me from like I think when Rancho back then would post a lot like, oh, then this new album came out and it's number 1, and like the second album was like Bad Bunny.
Yeah. That's a trip, bro. Like to see the albums like that. I get like super excited and when I see something like that on that I worked on, you know, I'm like, fuck, I did this and it's number 1 in the fucking world.
Yeah.
Like when, you know, that kind of shit is like, oh man, like that's fucking amazing. You know, like just to know that you put a little bit of work into that. It's pretty cool, man.
And do you think like as a producer in the regional, there's like a lack of like credit given to the producer?
Definitely.
Because like in the rap game, you hear
They
like,
have the
oh,
tags.
they got London on the track and shit
London
like
on
that.
the beat.
Yeah.
You should do that. Be like,
Yeah, you
you got
should do that.
Yellow Room on the track.
Break, like you just should find a way to say like Yellow Room, and you know you build that brand and
Like a trademark.
Definitely. You know what? When I first started, you know, wanting to move my studio and you know, wanting to dedicate myself more to the producing now, because I mean, I've been doing bosses for a lot of years, but you know, it gets to a point where, you know, you want to kind of slow down, you know, and I want to stick to more to producing. I started, you know, I was like, I want to make it as a producer. I want to be recognized as a producer because nobody gets recognized, especially in the regional. If you go to rap, you go to reggaeton, there's a bunch of sometimes there's fucking producers that are more famous than the fucking artists, you know?
They're an artist
And,
themselves.
yeah.
They're a celebrity.
Yeah, they're a celebrity themselves, and like a Dr.Dre, and so I always had that mentality. I want to be the Mexican, and I've been fucking manifesting the whole Dr. Dre shit for like, I don't know, maybe like 30 years. I've always said I want to be the Mexican Dr. Dre. I want to be the Mexican Dr. Dre, you know. So I think once I started like doing albums, you know, I would always say, I want my credit. Please give me my credit, and I'm always on them. Give me my credit. I don't always get it, but I'm always on them. I want my credit. I want my credit, and you know, luckily I think I've built up enough respect from people that now ahora sí me lo dan, you know. Ya me lo están empezando a dar un poquito más. Pero shit, even if they don't, shit, I'm putting it out there. I produced it, so that people will know that I did.
Just word of mouth.
Yeah, that I did it. And honestly, that shit, I feel like now I see more people on there that are producers, and I see more people that follow me que son también producers, and or at least ya se pusieron el title of producer, you know.
Yeah.
So it became a kind of a little thing, you know.
Yeah, because I mean, people in the know, like, you know Yellow Room, but
Yeah.
everybody else should as well, because I think it's fundamental for the song to sound the way that it does, for you know, the sounds that made him fall in love with the song. And
Yeah, I mean, to me, sound is a very important thing, bro. It can make a bad song sound good, and but you can, you know, if you have a bad song and it sounds like shit, it's just a shitty song, you know. But the sound to me is very important, you know, because it to me once you're in the recording world, it's like a magical, like fucking. Like a magical world, you know. I want people once they hear the song, they're in the headphones in the car. I want the song to take them somewhere, you know.
Yeah.
So
definitely.
at least for those 3 minutes or 4 minutes that the song lasts.
yeah, we're somewhere else.
Yeah, you go
Yeah,
somewhere
yeah.
else, you know. Yeah. So to me, that I think that's super important, man. And
Yeah.
obviously, you know, I wish the industry would recognize the producers a little more, you know. But because some people have like a different idea of what a producer is, you know. I mean, producer could be a lot of things. Some people think that it's just the one that makes the music, but no, you know, you got the one that's putting it together and saying, aquí estás bien, aquí estás mal, you know, do it again. And then I think that's very important.
Kind of like you said, a coach, right?
Yeah, you're like a coach, you know, you have to coach people through the whole recording and make it good, you know. Y te digo, pero I think as of lately, I think como que ya se están acomodando un poquito más el rollo para los
Yeah, but I
productores.
think we need more. So if you're if you're an artist out there,
Give credit.
you gotta give credit.
Yeah,
You gotta
yeah.
find a way to put like the tag or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
it's only right. I feel like it's only right that we get our credit, you know, because we do a lot of work. Shit, and I remember even back in when I didn't know I was producing, I was just recording albums. I would do the same thing, you know, and me like yo, aunque no me estén pagando, I'm always running the session the same way, you know. Si no me pagan, it's not like I'm gonna do less work si no me pagan.
Yeah, because you have pride in your work, you know. You're gonna say, oh, he went to Yellow Room. And
Yeah, and
you set the bar.
I want whatever comes out of Yellow Room to sound good, you know. So I never half-ass it, bro. That's to me that's very unprofessional. So I always try to give everything in my recordings and make sure that the clients are happy.
Yeah, no, we can definitely hear it in the music.
Yeah.
And how did you come up with the name Yellow Room?
Yellow Room, bro. You know what? My old studio at the house, where we used to live at, we used to have a garage that was super yellow, like fucking yellow. It's still yellow to this day. And we would record drums in there, and we record a bunch of shit. So we'd always say, oh, let's go to the Yellow Room, and we record at the Yellow Room and the Yellow Room. So then once we moved, no hallaba cómo ponerle. I was like, what am I gonna fucking name the studio?
Yeah.
So you know what? I'm just gonna fucking name it Yellow Room. And I mean, there's literally not one fucking yellow room in that whole fucking place.
Yeah, no, thinking about it, I think it's not yellow. I think it's black outside.
Yeah, pero we kind of went with the theme and we painted doors yellow and we put the logos and you know there's a few yellow things in there. There's not one yellow room, but there's yellow things in there. But yeah, pero ese nombre.
You as a producer, like what's next for you? You know, I'm pretty sure you have like a plan or agenda or goals that you put for yourself.
Man, you know what? I think the record label Yellow Room Music is my biggest goal. I mean, I love making albums for different artists, and you know, it's such a dream. It's such a blessing to be able to do it. But I want to be able to do it for my artists and focus on them and fucking, you know, hopefully make one of them pop off para que así ya me dedico just to my artists, you know. The occasional, you know, big album. I always tell my wife, I'm gonna stop, you know, taking so many albums, and then I get a phone call, Junior H, hey, can you do it? Let's do it.
Let's do it. Hey, pull up, I'm available.
I'm available right
tomorrow.
now. Yeah.
Right now.
She's like, no, que no.
Okay, no, yeah. It's kind of hard though, like you know, like it's like, as even if you want to slow down, but then you get a call from a big artist, you know, and shit, you know, you want to do that album because, you know, shit, first because I'm a fan or because, you know, because I just want to be part of that project, you know. So there's sometimes projects that I won't let go, you know, and I don't know, it's just fun, bro. It's just fun to be making music with these people, you know. But they go, my goal is to have my artists, you know, come up and then pop off and just focus all my attention on them.
Yeah, that's dope. That's a big goal too.
Si Dios quiere, this year, you know, we're estamos haciendo ahí movimientos y vamos a tratar de take them to the next level and
Yeah,
you know,
we want to see them on the charts too.
on the charts. Yeah, definitely, bro. I mean, I love making albums, but you know, at one point I gotta slow down. You know, I gotta take some time and, you know, focus on them.
That's right. We're gonna take a break.
And then Junior H calls, bet.
Hey, otro.
If somebody wants to do, like a professional song, what's the best way to reach out to you, like make an appointment, something like that?
Either my Instagram or my wife's Instagram. She has more time definitely than I do.
Yeah.
I'm usually in the studio. Sometimes people they get mad at me because I don't answer right away because I'm busy, bro. Sometimes I won't check my messages till I go home. When I'm in bed already checking them, and I'm like, okay, I'll answer them.
Yeah.
Pero si no, definitely you can message me or just send me a little message, and I usually like to hear what they want to record first. Make sure that's something that's gonna be good, because como te digo, pues I want whatever that comes out of Yellow Room que sea algo bueno, no quiero que
It's
salga
not just
y
like
que
taking
digan,
business
"Fuck."
and like.
Yeah, I mean, I'm always open to new bands and stuff like that come in. Y como te digo, if I don't have time, we can record them in the other studio, and at the end of the day, I'm always overseeing everything.
I just remembered we hit him up. We hit you up 4 years ago.
Yeah.
You didn't reply though. No, you did reply.
So we're gonna put both Instagrams right here.
Yeah.
His wife's Instagram, porque él no contesta.
Yeah, we got
Yeah. You know, contesto. Sorry, guys.
He's
But I'm busy.
Damn.
Yeah, we never got to go, but I remember we hit him.
You guys are welcome anytime. Ahí tienen su casa, bro. Yellow Room's known for our snacks, ¿sabes? We're known for our snacks. We got a bunch of snacks there.
What do
you
y'all
bring
got
that up?
there?
Like one of the best memories I have of my whole entire life when I was there, and then I think it was Junior said, "Oh, like I hambre, no, like let's get something to eat."
Yeah.
And they went to go get McDonald's, and we sat on those tables that you were mentioning earlier, and we're eating McDonald's, and I was like, had like a McDouble, and I was like, damn, 'cause I was like, I'm still a huge fan, but
Yeah.
I was like super starstruck back then, and I'm like, your Yellow Room eating a McDouble with Junior H.
With Junior.
No one's gonna believe me. Like
That's awesome, bro.
That's a story to tell.
No, thank you guys. Honestly, I thank you guys for having me on, bro. Because we watch you guys. We watch you guys all the time, and then I tell my wife, I go, one day I'm gonna be on that show. And then when you guys call me, I was like, fuck yeah, let's go to the show.
Hell yeah. Yeah. We really appreciate having you on.
Hell yeah.
Just shining a little bit of light onto, what we think is sort of a problem. That producers don't get that attention, don't get the spotlight. It's always usually the artist. And like, that's cool too. But
Yeah.
like this, like your craft should be seen by more people. I mean, it's heard, but it should also be like, oh,
Yeah.
Yellow Room, that's him.
We got to put in more work. I think we're not done. I'm still not settling. I think we can take this even further. So we're gonna work really hard. And try to make it to where all the producers get their credits, get respected. Because honestly, producers are a big part of the process of the music making. They're the ones that make sure that what people hear is gonna be the best. So definitely, hopefully this thing grows and vamos a seguir echándole chingazos.
Definitely.
No queda de
Producers
otra.
are the unsung heroes of the genre.
Definitely.
But
bro.
thank you so much for being here. You guys, if you guys want to record, hit up.
Hit us up.
Yeah,
Yellow Room Music.
Yellow Room Music.
Yellow Room.
Estamos.
Are you guys still, wait, hold on, one more question. Are you guys still looking for like new talent for like the record label too?
Yeah, always, bro. I'm always looking for talent. Yeah.
Definitely.
What's the best way for them to showcase themselves?
Music. Send me. I always tell people, send me your music. Like a lot of people send me your music, but a lot of the times I hear this. It's like the same song playing over and over with different artists. So I'm like, send me new stuff. Send me some weird shit. That
Stand out.
Yeah, that stands out. That's how people. Because if you send me a song that sounds like Junior H or a Nata, we already have Junior H. We already have Nata. We need something different. We need a new hero. In
Like
the
some
music
whistle blowing.
Some matraca in there.
business. Yeah, bro.
Oh yeah, we're working on a little grupo right here.
Yeah, let's do it. I'll make you guys sound badass, bro.
Some auto tune.
I don't. I mean, you know a lot, but I don't think you can make me sound good on the accordion. No. You guys heard me?
Oh shit! Well, let's do it, bro.
A new trio.
All right,
He had
then,
the,
guys.
on bass, requinto, and the
Acordeón.
Y en la bajista.
and the bajista.
¿Yo de bajista?
Yeah.
Ahí está.
Baja las cosas.
Baja esto, baja.
Guys, well, one of my favorite episodes.
Hell
Thank you guys
yeah.
for watching. Make sure to like this video.
Comment, subscribe.
Oh yeah, like, comment, subscribe, like
Follow
the video, and follow right here.
Yeah,
Yellow Room
follow.
Music. Right here. Thank you guys for making the time to come out.
No, thank you guys for having me.
Well, and
Peace out.
Peace
see
out.
you next week.
Let's go get some burgers across the street.
Hell yeah. Ya se hambre.
Damn, this episode.